Hello, welcome back to Wednesday's Live Coding. In this episode, I want to show you this kind of effects similar to the previous one where we use offset, but this is actually much simpler. And the secret with this setup is sample curve. Okay, sample curve is actually quite powerful and it's easy to use. There's a lot of application for sample curve. I'll start with the basic one. Maybe I start from nothing, delete everything, create Bezier curve, and I'll just create geometry nodes. Let's do it this way, sample curve. You can read the documentations of sample curve, but the easiest way to use this is to pipe this into a point and you get the result. Okay, we can't see the curve, so in order to see the curve, we just join the original geometry of the curve. Now we can see there's a point, so it's basically sampling our curve, and there's this vector where we can make the points traveling along the curve. So it's sampling the curve, finding the position of the curve. Yeah, so that's basically what it's doing. If we select these nodes and then right click, check on the online manual, there's actually an explanation. This calculates a point on a curve a certain distance from the start of a curve specified by the length or vector value. And there's an example here where you can resample curve nodes, and we are using mesh line. So in a way, with geometry nodes, everything can kind of root into a curve. Curve can become points, curve points can become a mesh, and you can do things into a curve. Maybe at some point we can use curve as a bone as well. But for now, anyway, don't worry about that. We want to make points traveling, and it's actually super useful. So let's save this as point travel. Yeah, it's a point on curve basically, and let's use scene time and use second into the vector. So if we just do this, the point's gonna stop at the end. We want to use math and wrap like before, like if we specify minimum and maximum like that, it's gonna travel between 0 and 1 and it's gonna wrap around. So it's super handy like this. What happens if we have multiple curve? I'll show it to you maybe later. For now, okay, we know we can wrap it. We can actually add something to the time, and if we try random value, nothing seems to be happening because we only have a single points. So points can have multiple points, so there you go. It's starting to get more interesting, right? So apparently, it's kind of vectorized, similar to Sverchok. Some nodes in geometry nodes is actually vectorized, especially when you see this kind of dots. That's really special. You can actually pipe in multiple values, so that's really powerful. You should do this in order for this to work properly. So we are really using random value into time, so we have multiple time streams coming and then wrapping around, and then also resampling the curve. If we, instead of using random, if we disable that, if we are using index, the index of points, so index gonna go from 0 to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's like a number. We can perhaps map the range, domain size, the point count. We can have the points kind of traveling on the curve, yeah, like that. So it's actually pretty stable. We can use random value on the radius here. So we have different radius of points. We can increase the number of points as well. Oh well, anyhow, let's see if I'm doing this correctly. Maybe this should be there. Point size. Oh, it doesn't work like that. Anyway, we make the points traveling. If we have multiple lines, go to edit mode, draw the curve, multiple curve. Sorry about the glitch. I think that's the macOS beta. Okay, we still have the points traveling on the single curve, but check this out. With the sample curve, there's actually this curve index, so we can make it travel on different curve based on the index. Okay. We can also enable all curve. So with all curve, it's really traveling along all the curve. So at some point we probably will study this a little bit further. For now, I just keep this to random. And with random, we can increase this count. Maybe multiply the time. It can go slower or faster. Go in reverse. So that's pretty cool. The next thing we can do, of course, in order to make this to work more interestingly, to convert the point into volume and volume to mesh. This is already pretty interesting, except that the radius is still not correctly sampled. So we need to sample the index. I think so we need to pipe in the points geometry. Use the index, and the value is going to be from radius of the points. Float points, pipe this into the radius. Okay. I think our setup is pretty much complete. So we can draw this on anything. You can also use something like sapling, for example, like a tree. Let's enlarge this tree. Reduce this tree into just curve. Get rid of the depth, and it's become curve. Now we can apply these effects into the tree. So we have the tree, of course, needs to have more points. So now we have these points traveling. So let's just use the points. There you go. See, so it's actually doing the travel. Maybe this wrap can have larger volume, a larger value on the maximum. So we have these effects where the point's traveling and it's gonna disappear, and then the point's gonna come back and start again. Maybe reduce the number of points so we can see the travel. Or actually use this index thing. Trying to see what kind of effects. Oh yeah, okay. See, this one looks a little bit better. Increase the number of points. I want to see the points traveling. Trying to control the number of points actually. There you go. So the effects is like an LED on the lines. It's not like a simulations, but it's kind of doing that kind of effects. That's, you know, like a flow of points. It's kind of nice. Increase the speed. So yeah, I quite like this. It's not perfect, but it's still a start for something. So if we apply this into, yeah, so I just draw like X on these donuts. You can see it's like a, what does it look like? It's like a creature traveling on a curve. So go to edit mode, we can draw more. Pretty cool effects. So I really like the fact that with geometry nodes we can just draw on top of surface and just keep drawing, and then yeah, we get these effects. Okay, so that's pretty much the basic of this really useful sample curve nodes. So we can make points travel on top of curve. So there's a lot of application for this, and we haven't got into the specific yet. But if you want to make an object traveling on point, I mean, we managed to create points traveling. Next time we try to see if we can use the tangent and the normal as well of the curve. So the object will travel along the curve. Yeah, maybe makes like a spider that's traveling on surface anyway. So that's pretty much the idea. This is the basic. Hopefully you find it useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.